There's a secret framework that will allow any drummer at any skill level to play chops just like this. And in this video today, I'm going to break down the 3-pillar chops framework that allow me to be the high-level drummer that you see today. It is very important that you understand that these 3 pillars must go together, because even if one is missing, your chops will remain stuck at the same level no matter how many hours you try to put in on the kit. The 3 pillars are going to be, number 1, vocabulary. Your vocabulary is extremely important because it is the foundation of everything you're trying to play. If the foundation is shaky, the house will not be built strong. Number 2 is going to be your chops. The chops is how you apply the vocabulary to the kit. If you don't know how to apply everything that you're learning to the kit, then you might as well not learn it at all. Number 3 is going to be your creativity. This is where you come in at. Nobody is trying to call a different drummer if they're calling you. So how can we step into creativity and step into who we truly are on the drums? This is the exact same framework that allowed me to become the full-time professional musician that I am today. This framework allowed me to play over 1,500 gigs in the last 6 years during my professional music career as a full-time musician. But most importantly, this framework allowed me to take drum solos on stage at the drop of a dime with little to no mistakes at all. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what's been holding you back and exactly what you need to do to fix your chops today. So grab some pen and paper, because class is in session. Let's jump on the kit. All right, y'all, before we jump in, I just want to let y'all know everything that I'm sharing with you today comes from my complete program, School of Chops. If you want the full program with all the secrets, all the sheet music, all the methods, all the exercises, then hit the link in the description below so you can grab it and start at your own pace. It's definitely worth it. Now, let's jump in with this. Okay, so the first pillar that we're getting ready to talk about is vocabulary, okay? Vocabulary is the foundation. If you don't have a vocabulary, then you're going to be lost. So, for instance, y'all may be asking, well, how do I develop my vocabulary? Okay, well, you got to learn more stickings and you got to learn more rudiments. Okay, there's an unlimited amount of stickings all over the internet, and there's an unbelievable amount of rudiments, and you probably know a good amount of them yourself. All right, so if you want to have a good vocabulary, you got to start learning those things, because that is where your vocabulary is going to derive from. So, for example, the piece of vocabulary that I'm going to start with today is right, left, left, kick, right, left, left, kick. Okay, I'm going to say it a little bit slower because that was a little tongue twister. Right, left, left, kick, right, left, left, kick, right, left, kick. That's the piece of vocab that we're going to start with today. All right, so this is the section where you find out what piece of vocabulary you want. So today I'm giving you that vocabulary, okay, and I'm going to show you how to play it right quick, but it's a piece of vocabulary. Then we'll talk about opening it up and expanding it as we go further to the video. But let's just start with that piece of vocabulary. This is how you play it. It's as simple as that. I know some of y'all might say, I already know that chop. You know, it just doesn't sound good when I play it. All right, we're going to get further. I'm going to start explaining y'all why it don't sound good when you play it. But we're playing the same thing. How can I play the same chop and it be dope, but when you play it, you're like, it's not as cool? Trust me, we going to get you there. We going to work you through that. But that's just the piece of vocab. Sometimes it might be just some flam drags. Other times it might be some paradiddles. Whatever the vocabulary is, the vocabulary is just a piece of, either a rudiment or a sticking that you're trying to apply to the kit. That's the vocabulary. Like I said, some of y'all playing the same exact thing and you're like, bro, it don't sound good when I do it. It doesn't sound cool. I know that chop, it's boring, because you're not taking it through the proper methods. You're not taking it through the proper system in order to make it sound good, okay? And you don't understand it. We'll talk about that later as well. But now let's move on to what it means to play the chops. Okay, so we got the vocabulary, right? We got the piece of vocabulary. We understand that. We can play that on just one drum. That's the vocabulary. You need to stick at that part for a while. This part of the pillar is very important because some of y'all are trying to play something you don't even understand. That's why it's not sticking. That's why when you try it live, it don't sound good. But it's as simple as that. Just playing the vocabulary, that piece of vocab, okay, or that lick or whatever you want to call it. Now let's move into the chops because now it's going to become a chop whenever we start to actually, play it and give it a voice around the drums, okay? So let's move on to playing it as a chop. I'm going to start playing it as a chop. So we got the first pillar, the vocabulary. We're through with that now. Now let's talk about how we can morph that into a chop, okay? And we're going to pick one way to play it, and that's going to be the foundation of the chop. This is our go-to way to play the chop, okay? Because a lot of y'all got the sticking, but you don't know your go-to way to play it, and you don't know where it sounds good. So this is the area where we start to find out where and how it sounds good, okay? Watch this. This is the chops portion of the pillars. Check this out. So as you just saw, we gave that vocabulary some voice by making it into a chop. All right, so now we're chopping. Okay, so that was just me playing it one way. It's not necessarily chops until you have multiple ways that you can play it, right? And start kind of exploring it and expanding on it. So now I'm going to play it in a couple of other different ways. And this is the section where you have to push yourself. Sometimes y'all be like, well, you gave me the sticking, but I didn't learn anything. I didn't see it. Like I'll see the comments. I see the sticking, but you never showed me how to do it. Bro, stop trying to do it the way I'm doing it. Look at the sticking and delve into it in your own. You have to push yourself and become creative at some point. You cannot just rely on the teacher to give you every single piece of paper. Whenever you were learning how to read and write, did you tell your teacher, you're not telling me how to write the letter? Well, you have to say it in your own words. I'm giving you the vocabulary and I'm giving you the chop, but you have to put it into your own words. So I'm going to show you different ways that I can play that same exact chop. So now we're talking about real chops, right? Because guess what? You do not have chops if you can only play something one way. That's what we call a one-trick pony. Nobody wants to be that. But now I'm getting ready to start to play it a couple of different ways. And this is something that you have to push through yourself. Find out where it sounds good. Find out where you can do it and then lock in with that and then start expanding it. And we'll get into the creative part later. Okay? But we got to lock in. What are the cool ways that I can play this chop? How can I play this chop and it sound cool? Right? How can I move around this piece of vocabulary and turn it into something extra and start letting it morph into more chops? You know what I mean? It's something that moving it around, the mobility around the kid. So I'm going to move it around a little bit and just explore, okay? And see how it's going to sound. And this also a part of creativity. We haven't gotten into full creativity of flipping it and twisting and turning it yet, but this is also a part of the creativity that you must learn because this is very, very important. So I'm going to move this chop around a little bit and actually make it into some actual chops, okay? Check this out. Okay, that's one of the most exciting steps. That's one of the most important steps, okay? Do not rush through the chop steps. That's the most important part, because how are you going to expand and be creative with something that you don't understand? Okay, the first 2 steps actually are the most important. You got to lay a good foundation with the vocabulary, and you got to lay a great foundation with the chops. The chops is where you can find out where it sounds dope on the kit, okay? Because if you don't know where it sounds good, then how do you ever expect it to sound good? You're just guessing and guessing and guessing and guessing and guessing. All right, so don't skip that. That's the fun part, when you get to move this thing around. In what ways can I move it around? I seen Zyck do it here. Okay, what if I tried it this way? What if I moved it this way? All right, you should have at least 3 ways that you can play the chop and know that it's going to sound good. These are the 3 ways I can play this chop and I know it's going to sound good. Don't even think about the creativity pillar whenever you haven't even gotten down the chops yet. You don't even know where you're going to play it. So yes, at least 3 ways that you know you can play it, that you know it will sound good. And then we expand on the 3 ways that we know it's going to sound good, and our 3 pillars are complete. Now we blazing the gig. All right, so when it comes to creativity, this part is going to be hard for some of y'all to understand, because some of y'all want me to just spoon feed you. You have to sit down behind the kit and expand on what you know. All right, so I know that chop. What is it again? I just played it and I forgot it, because it's just, you know, it just comes in. Right, left, kick, right, left, kick. Okay? That's a tongue twister. But y'all get what I'm saying? I know that now. It's ingrained. I just played it around. You saw me moving it around. I was almost getting ahead of myself and kind of getting into the creativity section. But I'm moving it around and I'm becoming comfortable with it. Now, guess what? It is your turn to do that. All right? So I'm going to show y'all how to just get creative with it. And guess what? Some stuff is going to come out that you don't understand. You're going to be like, what was that? Exactly. I want you to sit down and keep going until you can ask yourself, dang, self, what was that? All right. And now you're getting into what creativity really is. How am I going to explain a creative idea to you that came from my mind? Right? Then it's no longer it's not a creative idea from you. It's just an idea. So we got to expand on that and lock into that. So now I'm just going to move it around. Y'all can watch me. I'll do it slowly. For the ones that like to complain a little bit, I'll do it slowly. But I'm just showing you what you should do. I'm showing you what you should do when it comes time for you to practice this stuff. Okay? So I'm just going to move it around the kit a little bit and add to it and subtract from it and start to generate some cool ideas. Okay? This is what chops is all about. All right? Check this out. Let's do it. Okay, so that was a lot, right? I know that was a lot. I played kind of fast. I played some stuff you didn't understand, but guess what? I'm here to encourage you. I'm doing this at a high level. This is what I do. I've been doing this for years and years and years and years to be able to play stuff like that on the fly. When you do it, it may not sound like that right off, but dig really deep and listen for those cool ideas. If you only can do a paradiddle in between each chop, then you do that and you find out how you can make that sound cool. Right? We got to use what we got so we can let it grow. You know what I mean? Start with where you at. It's okay. And I know y'all see a lot of drummers online killing it, smashing it on the gigs, and it's kind of discouraging. Like, I can't do that. Slow it down. So I can't do that. What can you do? If you only got a flam paradiddle diddle in between each time you play that chop, if you only got a double kick in between each time you play that chop, that's okay. That's where you at. And I promise, because that's where I began. You think when I first got to the Berkeley practice rooms or whenever I was in high school trying to practice this stuff, I was doing it like that? No, but I was committed to doing what I could do. So I want to encourage y'all, okay? We're about to get away from this being a chops tutorial for a second and just give y'all some encouragement. What I just did, do not be discouraged by that. Do not be overwhelmed by that. That's my process. That's how I'm doing it, okay? But I'm giving you the same process and you got to trust yourself to do it your way. And that's where you truly win. That's where you truly win, okay? You do it your way and you get to a point where you can say, all right, look, I can do this. I got this one cool chop that I like to do. I'm going to try to blend those two together. It takes time. Y'all got to sit there for a minute. It takes time, but do not give up. I promise you, your vocabulary will begin to expand and you will start to get better and better, and you'll start being able to play stuff and you'll be playing it without even thinking about it, right? Because you've spent some time, but you got to dedicate some time to it, okay? So I just wanted to encourage y'all. I know when y'all see that, you're like, well, you're doing it so fast, I don't understand what's going on. That's fine. You're not even really supposed to understand what's going on. I gave you what you're supposed to understand. I gave you the chop and the vocabulary behind it. It's your turn to be creative with it and now spin it in your own way. Add your own chops to it. Add your own rudiments that you know to it, okay? And if y'all want to get deeper into how to do that, then like I said earlier, the link to the description to all the secrets, everything I teach is in my program, the School of Chops, and I will give you more information on how to delve into that. If you want that extra information, more of those secrets, then hit the link in the description and I will help y'all be able to do that, all right? All right, y'all, that's going to be the end of this video. I really appreciate y'all taking the time to watch. Keep in mind, if you would like to get the entire program and dig deeper into these concepts that we discussed today, hit the link below in the description and I promise you it will change who you are as a player. It will definitely boost your skills and confidence behind the kit, and it will definitely have you playing more and more gigs as you go. I'll catch y'all next time. God bless. Zyck out.